Welcome, Professor Di Carlo. First of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity provided to me and my colleague to present our project work via video. We are sorry that we can't discuss the project work together because currently I'm in Germany, so we decided to split our work, and I'm going to focus on the Eni group, and he decided to focus his attention on the Lukoil group. So let's start talking about the general info of Eni Corporation. Eni is an international independent oil and natural gas company which operates in three core business: exploration and production, gas and power and refining and marketing. It controls 299 companies in Italy and abroad, and it has a workforce of more than 29,000 people. The Eni business activity involves 66 countries, and depending on the country in which operates, Eni provides different products. For example, in Italy, it provides a car sharing product called Enjoy. Furthermore, Eni is a listed company. For this reason, their stock are exchanged both in the Borsa Italiana and the New York Stock Exchange, so in the United States. For what concerns the ownership structure, Eni is subject to the control of the Ministry of the Economy and Finance, which has enough votes to exercise a dominant influence in the ordinary shareholder, so has de facto control. And in which modality it has de facto control? Through stakes held directly in the company by the Ministry of the Economy and Finance, 4.34%, and indirectly through Cassa Depositi e Prestiti SPA, which is a company controlled by the Ministry of Economy and Finance. There not exists other relevant stakeholder except to the People's Bank of China, which owns 2.1% of the share. Even if the threshold to be considered a relevant stakeholder in any corporation has been enhanced from 2 to 3%. Now let's see the shareholder rights. Being any shareholder means having both financial and non-financial rights: the right to participate in profits, for what concerns the non-financial rights, and the right to be informed, the right to attend the shareholder meeting, the request the calling of the shareholder meeting, and obviously vote. And lastly, but not least, the right of withdrawal. So these are the non-financial rights, but there are some limitations concerning the voting rights. If a shareholder, with the exception of the state or an entity controlled by it, should hold more than 3% of the Eni shares capital, they may not vote the shares exceeding this threshold. What does it mean? So when the shareholder that owns more than 3%, when they overcome this threshold, the amount of stocks exceeding this threshold lose the right to vote. This is basically. So for this reason, we consider shareholders as owner of the shares rather than owner of the company. This is in line with the team production, common good, and economic Zendali theories. The ultimate owner of the Eni corporation is the state, which has de facto control, as we already said. But we know that only a natural person can be the ultimate controlling party, not a legal entity. For this reason, we recognize as ultimate controlling party the Italian Finance Minister Piercarlo Padoan. Eni, in its corporate governance code, says that the management and the coordination of the firm is not subject to the Ministry of the Economy and Finance, but we'll see that its board is mainly composed by candidates proposed by it, especially key figures as the chairman and the CEO. So according to Boardman, Eni is considered as a mixed enterprise which carry out both a socio-political and a profit maximization goal in the medium long term. Obviously, the socio-political goal is carried out by the state, the public party, and the profit maximization goal by the private party, the other stakeholder. So consequently, a goal conflict between owners could take place in this situation. So this consideration can lead us to the conclusion that the only agency problem that could eventually arise is the agency problem of type 2, also known as principal conflict. So we can go on and see the Eni's corporate governance structure. is based in the traditional Italian model, which respecting the duties of the shareholder meetings and assign the strategic management of the company to the board of directors, while the supervisory function to board statutory auditors. The board of directors is composed by 9 directors, 3 of whom designated by minority shareholders, while 5 standing members and 2 alternate members compose the board of statutory auditors. 2 of them, including the chairman, are designated by the minority shareholder. This is the composition of the board team. So we can say that 7 out of 9 members of the team are independent, and while only one is an executive, and 2 are independent, obviously. And the majority of the candidates are appointed by the Ministry of the Economy and Finance. So after this, we can make some consideration related to the board composition. So we saw that there is no CEO duality because Emma Marcigaglia is the chairman of the corporation, while Claudio Descalzi is the chief executive officer. There is a preponderance of board members designated by the Ministry of the Economy and Finance, which could lead to an agency problem type 2, as we already said. The gender balance is respected according to Eni's law. So Eni focuses attention of the rights of the people. For this reason, the gender balance to equal right for people. For this reason, the gender balance is really important for them. Now we'll see how the role of the board attributed by the main theory of the corporate governance literature fit or not fit with the board composition structure and attributes. So according, for example, to the agency theory, the board of directors should monitor the behavior of management in order to protect the shareholder. In this case, the company fit with this model because it has 7 out of 9 in the independent board member. There is no CEO duality, and the CEO and the chairman own shares, so their interests are aligned with the interest of the minority shareholder, because they want to maximize in some sense the share value, also in the short term, not only in the long term. And obviously the short theory is antithetical respect to the agency theory, so it doesn't fit. Regarding the dependence theory, resource dependence theory, and the team production theory, partially fit and completely fit. Now we discuss the mission of the firm. We want to identify the what, the how, and the why. So the object of the business entities, the business model of the business entity, and the objective of the agenda. That is the most important factor to analyze. So we are working to build a future where everyone can access energy resources efficiently and sustainably. This is the why that guide the management strategies. Where for what concerns the product, so what to produce, they provide energy resources in general, so oil, gas, and the how to produce is better described in the business model, but we can say that in an efficient and sustainable way is the how they produce their product. So the Eni business model aims to create long-term value for stakeholders through the achievement of profitability and growth, efficiency, and operation excellence. This can be done thanks to a solid and financial results and sustainability achieved in these years, despite the price of the oil goes down in the last 2 years. So the value creation that they carry out is namely stakeholder oriented, because first of all, for the social political goal that they want to achieve, and also for the fact that indirectly and practically the real owner in in this sense of the company are taxpayer citizen, and so they are very sometimes they are very interested in the activity of the firm because of its importance. Now it's one of the biggest enterprise in Italy and probably in the world. How they want to create value? Through the achievement of profitability and growth, efficiency, and operational excellence. Well, now I forgot to say that from who create value involves also obviously the company in general and the society, because as we can read in the sustainable report, the business dimension want to create value over time for stakeholder, the company, and society as a whole. According to Alda Maduzzi and Cavalieri, there exists some equilibrium condition which a firm should satisfy in order to create the value in a sustainable way, that are the economic, financial, monetary equilibrium and the balance of interest. The balance of interest is achieved in the moment that they want to create value for all the stakeholders, not only for the stakeholder but also the company and the society. But we can say that practically the balance of interest is not well carried out. While for what concerns the economic and financial monetary equilibrium, they registered a good financial. They have a good financial position because their equities are higher than liabilities, and they have enough cash flow to face the payment of employees and suppliers and so on. But for what concerns the economic equilibrium, they registered in 2015 a loss of 8 billion euro. So, like I said, this is probably due by the fact that the price of the oil went down in the last 2 years. So, and finally, lastly, in what time create value? In the medium long term. Thank you for the attention.